Oshaki Stadium in Tallmadge, Ohio, WCTV is proud to bring you the 1998 Wadsworth Grizzlies football season. Tonight, the Wadsworth Grizzlies will be playing the Tallmadge Bluedevils. Wadsworth now with a record of 3-3. They are 2-1 in the Suburban League. Last week defeating Norton by a score of 30-13. Tallmadge is now 4-2, also 2-1 in the Suburban League. Last week defeating Cloverleaf 26-22. Hi again, everybody. I'm John Bernard, and along with me again, Larry Varner.
Yeah, looking forward to tonight's game. In the Tallmadge team, we have a team that is fundamentally sound. They're good at tackling. They make very few penalties. They're not a big team, but they're a very tough team. One thing that's going to be different about Tallmadge compared to some of the teams that Wadsworth have faced recently, they don't seem to have the big play capability. Wadsworth has had trouble in some of their games giving up the big plays, and also they've made a lot of penalties, which has hurt them quite a bit. But I don't think that's going to be the case tonight with the big plays, though Tallmadge isn't going to let you win the game on penalties or turnovers. You're going to have to win it yourself. Tallmadge has a good fullback by the name of John Turner. You can watch for him. And also a quarterback by the name of Tony Thompson, who really is as much a running back as a quarterback, put up some pretty big yards in some of the games that they've had. So we're looking forward to a fairly evenly matched team. And in fact, Tallmadge should look a lot like Norton last week. Similar types of teams. Wadsworth won the toss and they deferred to kick off in the second half. So Tallmadge will be receiving the ball to start the game.
We have a whistle.
The clock is out, so the referees have delayed the game until they figure out what's going on with the clock. Technically, you don't need a clock. The time is kept on the sidelines, but would be nice if everybody could see what's going on.
Chad Lowry is deep for Tallmadge, along with Joe Sisko and Joe Tomei.
I'll tell you, John, it's another beautiful night for football. It's the 7th one we've caught in a row, and I hope this hangs on for another couple weeks, particularly when we're out of Cloverleaf and out of Copley. It get pretty chilly then. Well, the clock looks like it's back on. It's set to 12. Hope it runs, and we're ready to start this football game.
Both these teams, one game off the Suburban League lead. Green, the only undefeated team, but they have to play Copley and Revere the next couple weeks. Kick is fielded by number 11, Joe Tomei. He just falls on it, and at about the 20-yard line, they'll start with the ball.
That was a 40-yard kick and no return. The ball was bobbled around by some of the up people, and consequently, the tailback had nothing to do but fall on the ball. So Tallmadge will be starting 1st and 10 on about their own 21.
Wadsworth's defense remained strong last week against Norton. They're going to have to watch Thompson here. He likes to run with the ball. They will need to pressure him, but should they over-pursue, he could get a lot of yardage on the ground. Thompson with a long pass to number 10, Mike Fort. He's down the right sideline. He's going to score 6 for the Bluedevils.
At this point, I feel like a total idiot. I said Tallmadge wasn't a big play team. Let me tell you, they fooled everybody on that play. I think the last thing in the world the Wadsworth coaches were looking for was a pass like that in 1st down. And one of the things that hurts if you watch the 80-yard touchdown pass, the Wadsworth defenders run into each other and knock each other off the play. Here comes the pass right there, and they knock each other down. That doesn't help. So 79-yard touchdown pass, and Tallmadge scores with 18 seconds gone in the 1st quarter. They're lining up for the kick.
Glenn Moore will kick the point after for Tallmadge. Snap is high and fumbled. Still being kicked around.
That was just a bad snap, and the ball just rolled around. By that time, nobody could do anything with it. And so the score remains 6-0 as Wadsworth prepares to receive.
Wadsworth now on offense. Last week, Larry, offensively, Wadsworth probably had their best game of the season. They had about 7 big plays of at least 28 yards. Lance, 130-plus yards on the ground. Marino had a couple of nice big plays. 450 total offensive yards.
Yeah, I think Wadsworth played their best game against Norton. Of course, Norton was kind of down, losing all their starters from that championship team. They're only 1-5. But hopefully Wadsworth can get it together here and put something in real quick. That's not the way you want to start a game.
Glenn Moore to kick off for Tallmadge.
Glenn Moore to kick off for the Bluedevils. Matt West.
And this Tallmadge team also has a very good defense. Look for linebackers Joe Tomei and Doug Siebert had 102 tackles in 97. Kickoff is taken by Gosser, the up man, and he gets it to about the 30 of Wadsworth.
That was a 35-yard kick, but one of the problems, a 45-yard kick, I'm sorry, one of the problems Gosser has, if you'll notice, the wedge is out in front of him, but the wedge doesn't open up a hole in the Tallmadge defense, and so consequently Gosser had to cut it outside, and there were 3 Bluedevils waiting for it. About a 14-yard return, so it's 1st and 10 for Wadsworth on
29, excuse me.
Hoover hands it off to Lance, gets a couple yards as he fights for him, and gets it across the 30.
David Lance has been Wadsworth's big inside threat. If they want to go wide, they usually go with pitches to Marino. Marino missed a couple games with bruised ribs, but he's back in, and everybody's healthy tonight. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and about an 8 yards to go on the 32.
That was Doug Sieber on the tackle for Tallmadge, 102 tackles in 97. He's the big man as a linebacker for Tallmadge. Hoover, short drop back to pass, tries to get it to Copeland, and the pass is complete across the 35.
Pick up the 4 yards on the play. I think what Copeland is doing, he's just driving the defender back down the field, and then he cut back towards the line of scrimmage. I think it was one of those deals where he's hoping to catch the ball, maybe put a couple of moves on the corner and make it for a long game. But the ball was thrown just a little bit behind Copeland, so Copeland had to dive to catch the ball. That brings up a 3rd down and about 5 on the 36-yard line.
Also number 71, Mike Hedrick for Tallmadge. He controls the middle of the line for Tallmadge on defense. A pitch to Marino, finds a hole on the left side of the line, breaks a couple tackles, falls down at the 50, and that'll be 1st down for the Wadsworth Grizzlies.
A 15-yard pickup for Dan Marino. Like I just said, if they want to go outside, they pitch to Marino. Here's the quick pitch right here. Good hole at the line of scrimmage, and then it's Marino all on his own, leaps over one of his own men. And I'll tell you, if that tackle wasn't made right there, he could have gone all the way. That was about the last defender that had a shot at him. It's a real nice run by Dan. That brings up 1st and 10, just over midfield.
Two receivers right, handoff to Marino. Takes it to about the 48, and he's pushed back to midfield.
I don't know, well, here we go. A little handoff, counterplay to Marino, and the defense is there waiting for him. I don't know if you can believe the stats in the press books or not, and I don't have a Tallmadge press book in front of me, but Tallmadge looks to be about the smallest team that Wadsworth has played all year. They're very quick, they're hard hitters, but they're not physically very large. This might become important in the 3rd and the 4th quarter if the Wadsworth offensive line can keep pushing the defensive line back.
2nd and 10, fake pitch. Hoover is pressured. Lost 10 yards on that sack. Joe Tomei and Rob Hurst on the sack for Tallmadge.
Hoover was looking to throw left, but the defender backs were in there on a blitz. He didn't have anything to do with just no time to do anything with the ball. So that brings up a 3rd and 20 for Wadsworth on about their own 40 or 41. This is the first long gainer that Wadsworth has had to try to complete tonight. So we'll see what they do. You'd think pass. Got 2 wide receivers out. Brian Gosser to the bottom of the screen and Adam Copeland to the top. And now there's a whistle. Flag on the play. Delay a game against Wadsworth. That seemed to be an awfully quick whistle, but it's a 5-yard penalty, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 25. So all of a sudden, the Wadsworth Grizzlies are going the wrong direction. Gosser's out, and now Matt West is in.
Last week, Tallmadge took advantage of some cloverleaf mistakes. That's what Wadsworth wanted to work on and needs to improve on, is limiting the penalties. Hoover drops back, finds Marino wide open. and he gets it all the way to the 40.
That's a 24-yard pickup, and he's going to be about 1 yard short of the first down, maybe 2. It was a very nice call. Marino breaks out of the backfield down the bottom, and when the ball is caught, there's no defender within 5 yards of him. Makes a good move to fake out a defender here, and then it's Marino all on his own, dives forward, and brings it up to a 4th down and 2. And Wadsworth is going for it, 4th and 2 on the Tallmadge 41.
Hand off to Lance, gets the first down and more, gets around the left end, still breaking tackles, and pushed out of bounds at about the 11 of Tallmadge. Nice run there by David Lance.
31-yard pickup. And what you're going to see here so many times on short yardage defense, if you can break through the line of scrimmage, there isn't anybody there. A nice hole, good block, and now it's just a case of a foot race between Lance and the Tallmadge defenders. They moved the ball back to the 19, so that would make it a 29-yard pickup, I believe. But, I'm sorry, 22-yard gain.
Larry, I think they're going to have to get the ball to Lance as much as they can tonight to pound the ball in the end zone. And Lance is being dragged down by a number of Tallmadge players. He fell to his hand, helped himself back up, and got a few more yards.
That was pretty much all David Lance. Here's the handoff. 14-yard pickup, gets hit there, puts his hand down, manages to stagger to his feet. Oops, excuse me, there's a good block. And now watch him just drag the defender towards the end zone. It almost looked like a calf roping contest or a bulldogging contest. So Wadsworth has a 1st and goal on about the 5-yard line.
Give to Lance over the middle. Doesn't get much on that one.
He might have picked up 1, but that's about it. That time the Tallmadge defense was waiting for him. But so far, the Wadsworth offensive line has shown that they can pretty much push the Tallmadge defense aside. And when you can do that, that's when you look for David Lance to have a big night, because if he gets through that hole at the line of scrimmage, he's awfully tough to bring down.
Well, a nice night running for David Lance. Does start with the line. Hoover's going to roll to the right. Finds Copeland, dives, and incomplete is the pass. Might have trapped it on the ground there. Referees call incomplete.
Well, you see Hoover, if we have it on replay, rolls out to the right. There was a lot of room in front of him. You think maybe almost Hoover could have run the ball in the end zone, but he chose to throw the ball to Copeland. Copeland, give Tallmadge credit, was well covered. The ball had to be perfectly thrown. It was just a little low. So now we have a 3rd and 5, 3rd and goal on the 5. See what Wadsworth does now.
It's a pitch to Lance, going around the left. Dives in.
Going to be awfully close. No signal yet.
And he just must be shy of the goal line. I saw the ref throw his spot rag down just at the goal line.
This one is the pitch not to Marino but to Lance. And it looked like he almost bowled his way in there, but they're setting the ball down on about the 1. So this brings up a 4th down and 1. Let's see what Wadsworth does here. They're not going to go for it. I'm sorry, they're not going to try the field goal. They are going to go for it. They're going to have to be careful they don't get another delay of game here, because the play came in from the sideline, took some time.
Hoover hands it to Lance, and he is stopped, but there is a flag.
That flag could be a face mask. It came in very late. It wasn't a motion penalty or anything like that, and it's talking whether you find holding or face mask. There goes Lance in there. And it is a face mask call against Tallmadge, and that's going to be an automatic 1st down. You talk about a critical penalty. It looked like Lance was stopped. Of course, the face mask might have had something to do with that, but Wadsworth is going to pick up a 1st and 10 on the Tallmadge 1-yard line. So there's the referee moving the ball half the distance. He didn't even have to take a step when he did it. And that's got to be a real killer for Tallmadge. They played some great defense down there inside the 5-yard line. Now Wadsworth gets 4 shots from inside the 1.
Hoover takes it himself, fumbles it.
He fumbled, Craig.
They're calling it a touchdown. So,
and it is a touchdown.
Okay, here we go. Hoover goes in. They ruled that Hoover was over the goal line before the ball came loose. That was a pretty tight call. And as you saw Hoover go over there, he was kind of looking backwards for the ball.
Did I say the wrong name?
And Wadsworth goes for the extra point.
Sam Galpert to kick. It's up and plenty good. So Wadsworth takes a 1-point lead, 7-6, with 5:56 to go in the first.
Okay, now what you fans have been waiting for all week, I'm sure you've all been wondering how the North Lima South Range Red Raiders did last week. Well, last week they played the always tough Jackson Milton team, and they beat Jackson Milton 37-12. In the playoff picture, they are 5th in their region. Tonight they play perennial powerhouse Mineral Ridge, and Mineral Ridge incidentally is ranked in the top 10 of the Division 5 schools in the state of Ohio. And I think it's pretty well safe to say that if they beat Mineral Ridge, who is 5-1, and also Springfield 2 weeks from now, who are also 5-1, they're assured of a playoff spot. So there's going to be a great game tonight between North Lima South Range and Mineral Ridge. The Red Raiders right now 5-1. So go Red Raiders.
Galpert's kick is a ground ball to an up man, and he falls to his knees and fumbles around with it before he falls on top of it. 31-yard kick for Galpert.
I'm surprised that the Tallmadge backs are not making any effort to pick the ball up. The Tallmadge ball player didn't even try to field the ball. He was just kneeling there waiting for it to come into its hands. He could have picked it up. He might have got another 5 or 10 yards. This was only Tallmadge's second play from scrimmage. Their passing is 1 for 1 for 79 total yards and a touchdown.
Second offensive play of the game for Tallmadge. Counter play, and it's brought up to the 35 of Wadsworth, or of Tallmadge, excuse me. Jason Paul, the ball carrier for Tallmadge.
I think you'll see a host of Wadsworth tacklers over here. And Pat McCarthy really came up, filled in the hole pretty nice, and I think I have to give him credit for the tackle. But Tallmadge did pick up 4 yards, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 6.
Thompson rolls to his right. Intercepted. Jake McElvain. McElvain on a 7-yard return on that interception.
Nice interception by McElvain. If you watch, the quarterback's back, Thompson's back there. McElvain just steps right in front of the receivers for a perfect pick right there. And caught from behind after picking up 6 yards. So it's kind of a funny situation. Tallmadge has only run 3 offensive plays. They've had a touchdown, an interception, and a 4-yard gain. So Tallmadge starts their second offensive series.
Wadsworth. Gosser wide open at the 20. He's going to go into the end zone for a Wadsworth Grizzly touchdown. 35-yard play. That makes it 13-6.
This is a highlight film play. Hoover goes back, nice drop, perfectly thrown pass, and then Gosser, who was pretty much open, put a move on a Tallmadge defender, like you won't believe, into the end zone, basically untouched.
Sam Gilbert to attempt the point after.
Galpert's kick, up and good. With 5:05 to go, it's now 14-6. Grizzlies with the lead.
Got to give credit on that play to Ben Vujis, another very nice hole. He's done some good jobs this year. I mean, there have been some questionable snaps coming back that he's managed to get down. Well, I'll tell you, this kind of looks more like a track meet than it does a football game, you know, and all your sprinters go deep, and there you go. Let's take a look around the league and see what's going on tonight. We already mentioned a huge game, Green at Copley. If I wasn't here broadcasting this game or Wadsworth wasn't playing, I think I'd be over there watching that one. Revere's playing at Cloverleaf. Revere is a very good shot at the playoffs. They're ranked 2nd in their region in playoff computer points. They shouldn't have much trouble there. Norton at Highland. It's going to be a good game. They're both 1-5, but it's pretty much a toss-up who's going to win that one. And looking around outside the league, Hudson is playing at Ravenna. Ravenna's got to be favored in that one. The Falls at Kent Roosevelt, that's pretty much a toss-up. And Medina at Brunswick, that one's a toss-up too. So there's a lot of even games being played around the league tonight.
Another ground ball kick by Galpert. Again, fielded and fumbled by an Upman. That's the third kick that's been fumbled around by Upman of Wadsworth, or of Tallmadge. That was
36-yard kick, basically no return. And the Tallmadge backs are having an awful lot of trouble handling these little bouncy kicks that are coming down towards them. That's the third one in a row that they've basically mishandled. Be that as it may, Tallmadge takes over 1st and 10 on their own about 27-yard line.
Two receivers right for Tallmadge, and it's a handoff up the middle. He gets nowhere. Rob Hurst.
Jason Paul, the ball carrier.
And I think you can give credit on the tackle to basically the whole center of the Wadsworth line. They just stood up and stopped the play. Watch here, no hole at the point of attack, and then everybody's there. Matt Delnos, Ryan Finn. So they rule a pickup of about 1, so it's going to bring up 2nd down and 9.
Turnier and Paul in the I formation for Tallmadge. Option play, and Jason Paul brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Wadsworth read that option all the way.
By Jake McElvain for Wadsworth.
Jake McElvain does a great job of getting in the backfield and just messing everything up. There's McElvain at the top of your screen. Just causes confusion in the backfield and manages to hang on for the tackle. So that brings up a 3rd down and 14 to go for Tallmadge. And you can be pretty well assured they're going to throw the ball. Plays coming in from the sidelines. They're going to have to be careful they don't get the lay of the game here, because this is taking an awful lot of time to develop.
Oh, that's illegal. This guy, shoot, we're all confused.
The pass is complete to Jason Paul of Tallmadge.
And whether or not he gets the 1st down depends where they mark it out of bounds. It's going to be very close.
Paul was wide open on the near side of the field.
There were three receivers down the bottom of your screen, and there are only 2 Wadsworth defenders. Somebody had to come open. And there's the pass right there. You can see there's no Wadsworth defender within 5 yards of the play. And then the receiver just kind of tiptoes up the sideline just enough to pick up the 1st down. So Tallmadge has 1st and 10 on about their 36. 3:31 to go in the 1st quarter.
Take purple! Take purple!
Handoff is to Paul.
Greg, we're in blue up top and first down.
Picked up about 4 yards on the play.
Gets it across the 40.
On the tackle.
There you see the weather forecast, cloudy, 61 degrees. Just perfect weather for football out here. Very, very comfortable.
2nd down.
Bring up 2nd and 6 for Wadsworth. For Tallmadge on the Tallmadge 40.
Good job, Pat.
Nice.
Oh, they threw a flag on that. There are 2 flags on the play, one at the line of scrimmage, and then they call the pass interference. You judge for yourself. Here's a toss, and the camera wasn't on it. You couldn't see from that angle. It was touch and go either way. So we have 2 penalties. There's a holding penalty on Tallmadge, then the pass interference on Wadsworth. The penalty's offset, and it's no play. So that we'll go back and we'll try 2nd and 6. Got to thank Scott Callahan and John Gramuglia for doing stats, and Scott Callahan was comparing this game to some umpiring that was recently transpired in the Indians series against the Yankees. We won't say too much about that.
2nd and 6 for Tallmadge on the 40. Handoff is to Paul. Scampers around a few defenders, gets it just shy of midfield. Very close to a 1st down for the Bluedevils.
They're going to give it to him, pick up a 7. Just a good hard run. Bust a tackle at the line of scrimmage. A little bit of downfield blocking before the Wadsworth defenders could bring him down. So that brings up
47-yard line. 1st down for Tallmadge.
1st and 7 Tallmadge, 1st and 10 Tallmadge on their own 47.
I formation, fake handoff by Thompson. He's going to run with it, and he's tripped up by John Schnell right at midfield.
First time we've called the number of the transfer from Euclid, John Schnell. Did a great job. Come up from his linebacker position, covers the quarterback perfectly on the pitch situation, perhaps the top of your screen. You could see the cornerback going up to take the pitch man. That was a good play by John. 2nd down and 8, right at midfield. Minute 58 to go in the first quarter.
Thompson did lead Tallmadge rushing last week. A fake handoff, he rolls left. He's looking for an open receiver, can't find one, and he's pushed out of bounds at about the 45 of Wadsworth.
Ryan Finn made the tackle. I was watching the Tallmadge receivers, and a receiver from that was split wide to the bottom of the screen was running a cross pattern, but everything was well covered. This is good defensive coverage back there, nobody to throw the ball to, and then Finn makes the tackle right there. It was a good gain, though. It was a gain of about 4, so it brings up 3rd down and 2, just inside the 45-yard line.
3rd down.
They ran a guy out of the, again, Greg. They got 12 guys in the hole and they're running them out.
Full house backfield, handoff to Paul.
I don't think he got the 1st down. It's going to be close, but depends on the spot. The referees are calling timeout for a measurement. They're going to look this over. Well, they call it a 1st down. I guess there's just enough surge on the offensive line. You can see Finn come up and make the tackle, but it's 1st down for Tallmadge. Now they're down on the Wadsworth 43. So they've got a pretty good drive going this time after the first 2. Well, first of all, when they threw a 79-yard touchdown pass, you don't need a drive. And the second time, after 2 plays, there was an interception. So Tallmadge has got something going for him.
45 seconds to go in the first. A handoff to Paul, and he's met by Gabe Catrufo, the nose tackle of Wadsworth. He's met as he is handed the ball by Thompson.
Catrufo could have taken the handoff. I think there was a bit of confusion in the backfield. The handoff wasn't clean either, but with Catrufo there, it didn't really matter all that much. So that'll bring up 2nd down and 13, 3-yard loss on the play. And I think Tallmadge is just going to let the time run out in the first quarter. So that'll be the end of the first quarter with the score Wadsworth 14, Tallmadge 6.
That'll bring the end of the first quarter, ladies and gentlemen.
Teams run to their respective benches.
Tonight's spirit items are on sale at the Bluedevils Spirit Hut. Special tonight is a great-looking license plate holder for only $2. Visit the Spirit Hut and get in the spirit.
Virtually no wind tonight, so the changing of sides of the field doesn't matter an awful lot. Both teams are huddling at the sidelines with their respective coaches prior to starting the second quarter. And John Gramuglia is preparing the stats for us. Let's see what we got. Okay, as far as Wadsworth is concerned, the big rusher is David Lance, who's run for 40 yards. A lot of them that big carry that took them down to about the 9-yard line. Ben Hoover is 3 for 4 passing, 63 yards in 1 touchdown. For Tallmadge, Paul has 15 yards rushing, and the quarterback, Tommy Thompson, has passed for 93 yards. Well, of course, 79 of them came on that big touchdown play. He was 2 for 2, but he also threw an interception. So kind of a mixed blessing there. So we're ready to start the second quarter. Tallmadge has the ball on the Wadsworth 45, 2nd down and 13.
Hoover, with those 63 yards passing, is now about 10 yards shy of 1,000 for the season. Thompson drops back. Pass incomplete over the middle, intended for Mike Fort of the Bluedevils.
Josh Busen broke that up, and I'll tell you, I think that came closer to pass interference than the one they called on McCarthy before. Watch the pass. And I guess they say Busen and the ball arrived at about the same time. That brings up a 3rd and 13. I'll tell you, John, I'm a little surprised that Tallmadge is throwing the ball this much. I hadn't heard that about him. I don't know if it's new wrinkles that they put in for Wadsworth or not. But I had heard primarily they were a running team. But, boy, they're filling the air with footballs.
I was expecting quarterback Thompson to run with it more. deep drop back. Pass was complete by Chad Lowry, but he ran into his own man and fell down.
Once again, Catrufo was there to kind of mess things up. This is screen all the way. They're letting the Wadsworth defenders come in, and now a little flip over the rushing lineman. No, that's Gabe Catrufo that made the tackle. Good hit, good hit. And they're going for another in kind of a quasi-punting formation with 3 wide receivers down the bottom of the screen.
What an idiot! What an idiot! Come on!
And they complete the pass for the first down. The Wadsworth defense was totally confused on that play. They didn't have coverage anywhere. They weren't watching for the pass. They were expecting the punt.
54, 45. Pass from Doug Sieber to Joe Tomey.
Doug Sieber.
What they did is they had 3 wide receivers at the bottom of the screen, and then they ran the tight end, or who was playing the end on the kick formation, up the middle and came wide open. So Wadsworth defense has to do it again.
Sieber, the punter, passed it. A run play, not for much yardage. So, in essence, a fake punt. Wadsworth coaches saw it coming up here in the box next to us, and no one was back for Wadsworth to cover that pass play, and nonetheless, Tallmadge gets the first down and another shot at the end zone.
I don't know if that was a fake punt or not. It looked to me like the punter had the option all the way of punting the ball. He took the snap and just basically stood there for a minute, looked around, and waited to see if somebody come open. I think if he did, yeah, he would have thrown the ball. If nobody came open, we would have punted. Flags all over. See what this is. Well, I'll tell you, Tallmadge really is throwing a bunch of wrinkles at the Grizzlies. That big pass play on the first play of the game. Now the fake punt. But there's a penalty against Tallmadge, illegal procedure, which is going to bring up about, let's see if we can see what the illegal procedure is. I didn't see anything. It might have been one of the backs in the backfield breaking.
I think the center moved his head forward before he snapped the ball.
Whatever, it brings up a 2nd down and 13. Ball's on the 31-yard line at Tallmadge.
Watch the tight end. Watch the tight end.
2 wide receivers tied into the bottom of the screen. Quarterback looking that way.
Thompson looks for Lowry to catch the pass, and it's just short of his reach. It'll be 3rd down for Tallmadge.
He was open. The ball just didn't get there. It was somewhat underthrown.
Leading mascot on the track now.
So that brings up 3rd and 13. And you can kind of expect Tallmadge to throw the ball once again.
You may hear some extra noise this week. It's very loud up here in the box. We have the Wadsworth coaches to our left, PA announcer behind us, and the speakers for the PA right outside the booth. Thompson, long pass to the end zone. Hannah is there, jumps up, and makes the interception.
Was an intercept.
Caught in the end zone by Wadsworth.
That was Jeff Hannah, the DB.
Number 11, Jeff
catches a floater that went all the way to the end zone. Wadsworth takes over at their own 20.
Jeff Hannah made the interception. The end zone. The pass was kind of a Hail Mary. It was just a rainbow thrown up there, and there were defenders and there were receivers all in an area. And I think on 3rd down, they figured, what the heck, we'll give it a try for the end zone. If we get it, fine. If we don't, that's basically the same as a punt. So Wadsworth takes over on their own 20, 1st and 10. Flag down. That's probably going to be delay a game against Wadsworth.
They're marching back, so I guess it is on Wadsworth.
Nope, they called it offside against Wadsworth. Evidently, one of the Wadsworth linemen lined up in the neutral zone. So that'll bring up a 1st and 15 from the Wadsworth 15.
Lights are on? Yeah. What kind of car is it? White Chevy truck.
1st and 15 for Wadsworth on their own 15. Hand off to David Lance, takes it to the 20, gain of 5.
So he picked up what they lost on the penalty.
David Lance, the ball carrier.
Watch it. Simple play. Look for the hole, find the hole, bust through. The backers make the tackle after a gain of 5.
A white Chevrolet truck in the parking lot. License number 403 WBV. Your lights are on. A white Chevy truck, 403 WBV. Your lights are on. Thank you.
9.5 minutes to go in the first half. Lance gets the ball again, gets it across the 20, maybe 1 or 2 yard gain.
Quick inside handoff to Lance. There was a hole open there for a second, but closed up real quick. So we picked up a 2, so that'll bring up 3rd and 8 for Wadsworth. We have 9:06 to go in the second quarter.
Before tonight's game started, David Lance averaging just over 5 yards per carry on the season with 6 touchdowns. Hoover's going to drop, and he is sacked by John Turnier,
Number 33, John Turnier.
outside linebacker for the Bluedevils.
He blitzed from his outside linebacker position and just came in untouched. Once again, Hoover never had a chance. Wadsworth is going to have to punt. And now we have our Wadsworth Cable exclusive, where we give you not only the hang time and the distance the ball traveled, but also how high in the air the ball goes. So we'll see what we can do on this punt.
This will be David Lance's 19th punt of the season. He averages 31 yards per punt. High spiraling kick. Bounces to the 50. Number of Wadsworth players there. There's a flag. One of the Tallmadge players jumped up and kind of smacked a Wadsworth player on the shoulder pads as they were going to stop the ball's momentum.
With a 37-yard kick, the hang time was 3 seconds, and the ball went 38 feet in the air. But it looks like they're going to tack 15 onto that for basically unsportsmanlike conduct.
As the Wadsworth kick team was...
They're calling it a clipping call instead of a personal foul.
What I saw was as the Wadsworth kicking team was circling the ball just to down it, I thought a Tallmadge player just kind of came up and smacked one of the Wadsworth guys on the pads. I don't know.
Well, the results are the same. It's a 15-yard loss, and it takes the ball down to the 35-yard line.
For first and 10.
Well, Tallmadge has shown they're willing to try anything tonight. They've been gambling with this, trying that, and really opening the game up. Let's see if it continues. They got 2 wide receivers split to the top of the screen.
Quick handoff to John Turnier, gets a couple yards through the middle.
Pretty basic play. Brings up a 2nd down and 7. John Gramuglia just informed me that Wadsworth only had 10 defenders in that time, but Tallmadge didn't pick it up.
Another handoff, this time to Jason Paul. Josh Busen on the initial hit there, and Paul is brought down for, again, not much yardage.
Well, Paul was trying to break it outside, and Josh Busen was just standing there waiting. He tried to turn it in, but by that time, Busen made the hit. So we'll give him a pickup of maybe 1 yard. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 7 for Tallmadge.
7 minutes remaining in the first half. Wadsworth with an 8-point lead. Thompson's gonna pass over the middle. Incomplete, intended for Rob Hurst.
Hurst had come open over the middle. Pass was underthrown. If he had been able to catch it, it would have been a 1st down. If you watch Hurst, he'll come across the middle. Quarterback looks the ball at him, just underthrown right there. And that brings up a 4th down and 6. And Tallmadge is going to punt. And now Wadsworth has got everybody up close. They're not believing that it's going to be a punt.
Sieber to punt.
And this time it is. Nice punt, too.
A booming punt.
Nobody back for Wadsworth, and it starts to roll and roll and roll.
That punt bounced at about the 28 and rolled to the 10. Joe Tomei downs it at the Wadsworth 10 or 12.
49-yard punt, a lot of it on the roll, and that happened because there was no Wadsworth player back to receive the ball. Having been burned on that fake punt attempt the last time, they just decided they'd play a normal defense Nobody was back to receive.
Doug Sieber, a fullback, also doubles as the Tallmadge punter. 205-pound senior.
David Lance, the ball carrier.
Lance, the ball carrier for Wadsworth.
Not much to say about this one. There just wasn't anything there. They mark it for no gain, so it'll bring up a 2nd and 10. The second quarter is rapidly running down, only 6 minutes and 15 seconds to play. I believe both teams have all their timeouts yet, so if Wadsworth gets something going, they can stop the clock if they want to.
Number 71, Hedrick for Tallmadge, doing a terrific job, both on offense and defensive line. Nowhere to run on that play for Dan Marino, and it'll be...
Give him a pick up a 2, so it's going to bring up a 3rd and 7. As you can see, it's just the Tallmadge defense. The last 2 plays, they've been there, and Wadsworth hasn't been able to open the holes. Here comes Marino, but good defensive play. 3rd and 7.
And it was Hedrick on the tackle for Tallmadge. He controls the middle for this Tallmadge defense. Flag
I think that's going to be a motion penalty on Wadsworth.
Flags on the play.
Ben Osterland was in motion.
Illegal procedure.
Illegal procedure penalty on Wadsworth. I don't know if a lineman broke or perhaps the running back was running towards the line of scrimmage when the ball was snapped. But anyhow, that brings up a 3rd down and 12 instead of a 3rd and 7.
You have won a family portrait coupon from Pamphili. If you have the winning book, take it to the Spirit Hut. And good luck.
Haven't seen Chris Brink yet tonight after his big game last week against Norton. Hoover looking for Copeland. That pass is going to be incomplete.
They really trapped the ball. That's kind of surprising. Copeland came up with it. He thought he had made a good catch, but evidently the ruling was it just bounced off the ground. We'll watch and see if we can tell what happened.
It bounced.
Roll out this time. The protection is good. No problem. They're good blocking. There the ball is thrown, and we can't quite see what happened. You can see Copeland holding the ball up. They said no. So we'll try it again, folks, to give you hang time and how high the ball goes.
Chad Lowry back to receive for the Bluedevils. David Lance to punt.
David Lance to punt.
Gets off quickly. Lowry fumbles it. It's recovered by Wadsworth.
Tim Wilkinson recovered it.
Tim Wilkinson on the recovery for Wadsworth. And this Tallmadge kick return team having a lot of trouble holding on to the ball tonight. 3rd turnover for the Tallmadge Bluedevils tonight.
Ball's on the 36-yard line of
They have
Wadsworth.
2 interceptions and now this fumble on the punt.
Hoover is brought down, and that's going to be a grounding on Mike Hoover. He was being brought down as he threw that ball out of bounds.
That was kind of a strange looking play. Hoover was going to throw the ball. The Marino was coming out of the backfield, but Hoover, when he looked for Marino, Marino had gotten bumped out of his pass route.
Intentional grounding is
And then they called intentional grounding when Hoover threw the ball away, but it looked like he might have been down before the flag was thrown. If your knee's down, the play is dead. I don't know if we have this on replay or not. We could tell if it was a correct call. But I'll tell you, a lot of credit goes to the Tallmadge defensive back that bumped Marino off his route, because then there just wasn't anywhere for Hoover to go with the ball.
Now wait, where are we moving it now?
also carries a loss of down with that penalty.
So the penalty's going to be 5 yards and a loss of down.
Ball's at the 25-yard line.
When everything is all, the smoke cleared, it's going to be a second down and about 20 yards to go for Wadsworth from their own 26.
Hoover gets the handoff to Marino.
There was
to the 25.
Marino, the ball carrier.
Nothing there. The Tallmadge defenders were waiting for Marino on that play. Here's the handoff, and oops. To be honest with you, Marino was lucky to get out of losing more yards than that.
Got it to the line of scrimmage.
So
4 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first half.
It's going to be a 3rd and 21 for Wadsworth from their 25-yard line.
West and Copeland split to the right. In the shotgun is Mike Hoover. Snap is low. And Hoover found Chris Brink open, or not really open, but a couple defenders over him over the middle, and no penalty play called.
Barely caught the ball on the snap. Now watch and see if there's pass interference here. Ball is winged in there.
Got to move the camera.
I don't know what to say. That's a tough call. Lance is going to punt, so we'll try hang time again.
Tomiai and Lowry deep for the Blue Devils. Lance back to punt again. Snap low, kick very high. And Tallmadge is going to let it go out of bounds at the 45. I believe it went out of bounds in the air. That will mark at about the 47.
You were right that was a high kick. That kick went 60 feet in the air. And whatever, it was only 28 yards long, but a very high punt. Tallmadge wasn't going to get a run back because it was kicked out of bounds. So Tallmadge takes over now. We're on about the 47-yard line with 3:57 to go. And with 3 timeouts, they've got plenty of time to score.
Very good field position here for the Blue Devils. Hand off to Paul. Off tackle, gets it across midfield to about the 47.
Jake McElvain on the tackle.
A little fake, hand back inside, and watch McElvain come up to make the tackle right there. And that brings up a 2nd down and 4 yards to go for Tallmadge. Wadsworth territory on the Wadsworth 46. Clock still running, 3 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the 2nd quarter.
I formation. Thompson rolls to the right. Can't find anybody, and he's pressured out of bounds at about the 42.
Going to be close to a 1st down, depends on where they spot the ball. Gabe Petrufo ran him out of bounds. Looking downfield, the coverage, I was watching, the coverage was pretty good. There'll be a pump fake here, but by now he's over the line of scrimmage. Pick up about 4, and they rule it is a 1st down. So now Tallmadge has 1st and 10 on the Wadsworth 43. 3:06 to go in the 2nd quarter.
Hand off to Paul.
Jason Paul, the ball carrier.
Very late flag came in. That's got to be a personal foul. But who's on, I don't know.
And he was blocked like 15 yards downfield.
3 minutes to go in the first half. You're watching Wadsworth Grizzly football.
Calling a personal foul on Tallmadge.
Personal foul.
I didn't see that. It could have happened in the middle of the pile.
He's been kicked out, you think, right now?
Number 71 for Tallmadge was who the personal foul was called on. Who is that, John?
Mike Hedrick, the guy I've been talking about that controls the middle of that defense.
I didn't see what happens there, but he's been kicked out of the game, so it must have been something fairly flagrant.
Big time player for Tallmadge.
And
he is now on the
first time out.
Hedrick now on the sideline for Tallmadge.
While we have a timeout, we'll recognize our chain crew working hard on the other side.
Hedrick is a 6'2", 215-pound senior for the Blue Devils.
And Dave Kedra, thank you.
Very important player. He plays on both sides of the ball for the Blue Devils, and he's on the sidelines now kind of shrugging his shoulders as the coach is giving him a few words.
I'll tell you the things that surprised me about this game is it's been as exciting as it has. Coming in here, I didn't think we'd see that much offense, particularly on the part of Tallmadge. I didn't think we'd see the wrinkles. I didn't think we'd see the passing. I thought it would be more like the Norton game, grinded out. But Tallmadge has come out throwing the ball. Well, they really were their position if they don't win this game tonight, there goes any hope they have of winning the Suburban League. So they've really got nothing to lose. 3 minutes and 1 second to go in the second quarter. Tallmadge has 2 timeouts left.
Deep drop back for Thompson, and a pass is complete to Rob Hurst over the middle. Tackled at
Thompson's pass complete to Rob
the
Hurst.
45.
John Schnell on the tackle.
When I first saw that, I thought, uh-oh, this is a well-designed screenplay. In particular, right there when he breaks contact. Well, watch John Schnell come up right there. Pow! That takes care of that. And he was helped also by Jake McIlvain. So it looked like could have gone for a big gainer. Didn't. So I'll bring up a 3rd and 15 for Tallmadge at the 45.
2 minutes, 20 seconds to go in the first. Pass over the middle. Almost picked off by Josh Busen of Wadsworth. In and out of his hands. And Tallmadge will have to punt.
Josh is a little unhappy. I think he wishes he had that one back. Here the ball comes, and it's right in Josh's hands. Oops. Look what I found. But he didn't quite find it. I'll tell you, the ball never should have been thrown. There was good coverage by the Wadsworth defense all over the place downfield. And now Matt West is going back. Great kick.
West does not call for the fair catch, and he's drilled at about the 18. 35-yard punt for Tallmadge, and West does not get a chance to even make a step forward.
Well, more important than the 35 yards was how high the ball was in the air. This allows the defenders time to come down and make the hit. And I hope Matt, next time, for his own personal safety, waves his hand in the air. I can't lose any more physics students.
That was the 6th attempted punt return by Matt West, averaging 14.6 yards per punt return. Marino with the ball, and he carries it down the far side of the field to about the 40.
Dan almost broke that. It was the last defensive back made the tackle. A little pitch, nothing fancy. Good blocking up front. And again, more blocking downfield, 20-yard pickup, and that was the last person between Dan and the goal line. So with that play, Wadsworth gets the ball out of there deep in their own territory. They might try to score here with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter.
West and Copeland to the left of the line. Hoover rolls that way, finds Copeland. Complete pass across midfield and pushed out of bounds. That'll be a first down for the Grizzlies.
It's going to be 11 or a 12-yard pickup. Copeland broke under the defense. If Copeland down the bottom of your screen, you can tell Copeland he's got the black undershirt on. And here comes Hoover, rolls out. Copeland is cut back towards the ball, makes the reception right there. Good job. So it's 1st and 10 Wadsworth on the Tallmadge 49. We now have 1:56 to go. And again, if I'm not mistaken, Wadsworth has all 3 of their timeouts.
Hoover, fake handoff, and he's brought down. Hoover was down on that play, but the referees are going to call that he fumbled it, and they're going to give the ball to Tallmadge. Bad call.
Let's see if we have this on the replay. Hoover was hit from behind. He had no idea anybody was coming at him. They call it a fumble by Hoover and a recovery by Tallmadge. So Tallmadge takes over now on the Tallmadge 49-yard line.
I don't like
and Tallmadge has 2 1st and 10s and might try to score here.
I don't like to criticize the refs very much, but I'm sorry, that not a good call. Thompson rolls the left, intercepted by Jeff Hanna. So the fumble doesn't matter as Jeff Hanna comes up with Thompson's pass and returns it for a few yards.
Nice interception. Hanna makes the interception on the dead run. The receiver is open and just came running up, took the ball away from the defender and brought it back for about 7 yards. So that'll turn the ball right back over to Wadsworth. Minute 42 on the Tallmadge 49.
Bluedevils and Grizzlies playing a little back and forth. Hoover, short drop back, finds Copeland on a slant, and he gains about 7 or 8 on that pass. Nice play there by the Grizzly offense.
On the tackle.
And there's timeout. Wadsworth, their first play. Copeland just runs a slant, comes open across the middle. And it's an 11-yard pickup and a first down for Wadsworth. So that's Wadsworth's first timeout. We got 1:36 to go. They'll have the ball on about the Tallmadge 38. So with 2 more timeouts, no way Hoover can throw the ball. They've got a real good chance of going down there for some more points.
Fans, if you're down by the Spirit Hut, the Mean Devil Tattoo is back.
That was Wadsworth's 7th first down. But I think the thing that's marked this game more than anything else has been the turnovers. It's almost like giveaway, takeaway type stuff.
Well, we're nearing the end of the first half in what's been a pretty good ball game so far. Big game for both teams, depending on what Green does tonight. The winner of this ball game could be in first place in the Suburban League. Hoover going to go to the right, finds Copeland, pass complete, and that's another first down for Wadsworth.
Copeland drove the receiver deep. The receiver didn't want Copeland to get behind him for a possible touchdown. Then he just broke it back inside. See Hoover rolling now. He's looking right at Copeland. Copeland's coming back for the ball. Right on the button. 12-yard gain. First down Wadsworth on the 26-yard line of Tallmadge. 1:12 to go. Clock is running.
Timeout being called by Wadsworth. Coach Dennison coming out on the field to talk to his troops.
Now Wadsworth has 1 timeout. They're on the 26. First and 10, 1:06 to go.
97. Once again, remind you that the 50-50 raffle is going on. We will announce the dollars that are up for prize. As we get that number, we will draw a winning ticket at the end of the 3rd quarter.
Wadsworth looked like they were going to run a play when they came off the line of scrimmage, but there's a little bit of confusion, and wisely, since they had the 2 times out, they chose to take one. You don't want to make a mistake down here. A score here, just at the end of the first half, could be big in terms of deflating Tallmadge going in at halftime.
West in motion for the Grizzlies. Hoover rolling to the right. Looking to pass to West. He does as West falls to his knees. The pass is incomplete at the 20.
That was pretty good coverage by Tallmadge. Hoover didn't have a lot to go to there. That brings up 2nd 10 on the 26-yard line. Exactly 1 minute to go in the 2nd quarter.
With that last completion to Adam Copeland by Hoover. Hoover is now over 1,000 yards in passing for the season. We're only in the 7th game of the season. Shotgun. Hoover going down the sideline. Incomplete to Marino.
Flag on the play, and I think it's going to be holding against Wadsworth.
So Hoover now over 1,000
yards. There goes Marino out of the backfield, so you see him going down there. Actually, he's pretty well defended down here. The ball is thrown pretty much to a spot, but it's too bad Dan couldn't have held on to that. But the holding call is going to make it incidental anyhow.
What I was going to say is Hoover now over 1,000 yards could be in the record books for Wadsworth Grizzlies as a quarterback. And we've got 3 games to go after this one.
Tallmadge took the penalty. It turned out to be 13 yards on Wadsworth, so that brings up a 2nd and 23 from the 39 with 55 seconds to go.
Hoover in the shotgun again. Osterland in motion. Hoover looking for a receiver. Finds Brink at the 20. And inside the 20 is Chris Brink.
And Wadsworth calls timeout. That was not a first down, but a lot of yards on that play. I think if you watch this, here's the shotgun. Watch Brink come across from his tight end position. Awfully good protection by the Wadsworth Grizzlies. Hoover's got all the time in the world to throw. Look around, look around. Looks like he's going to run now. Then he spots Brink coming across the middle, throws the ball. Nice catch. Put your head down and bull for another couple of yards. Good job, Chris Brink. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4 from the 20-yard line of Tallmadge. 42 seconds to go. Interesting to see what Wadsworth does. If they don't make it on this play, we're going to take another shot at it, or would they kick a field goal?
Third down and 3.
Look for one more passing play here, maybe, and then a field goal if it's not successful. Hoover does drop back, finds Copeland, and it's out of his reach as the pass goes out of bounds. So we may see Galpert and the field goal team right here.
The defensive back, look at the top of your screen, gives Copeland a big cushion. Unfortunately, the ball's thrown just behind him where he couldn't get it. So now we have Galpert trying a field goal of, let's see, it's going to be 27. It's going to be a 37-yard field goal.
This will be the 4th field goal. Timeout called by Tallmadge. This will be the 4th field goal attempted by Galpert so far this year. He has made 2 of them from a distance of 25 and 31 yards.
So this is going to be the longest one he's tried this year. This is a 37-yarder. Wadsworth has no timeouts. Tallmadge has 1 remaining, as you can see on the screen. I think Galpert has the leg for this, so that, though it will be the longest that he's tried this year.
How long was the one he missed, Larry? Do you remember?
No, I don't. Right now, and assuming that Wadsworth doesn't throw anymore in the first half, Hoover's statistics are going to look like this. 6 for 12 with 116 yards, and David Lance has got 50 yards rushing.
Snap is right there. Galpert's kick is going to be shy of the goal post.
Galpert didn't get all of that when the ball barely made it into the end zone on the fly. So Tallmadge is going to take over with 34 seconds to go.
Wadsworth remaining.
On the Wadsworth 20-yard line.
Wadsworth remains with an 8-point lead.
First down.
What do you think, John? They're going to try one big one, or are they just going to kneel on the ball?
I say they pass it a couple times deep, see if they can't get the sprinters to catch the ball and go with it.
Got 1 wide receiver deep. Wadsworth playing very loose defense.
And quarterback keeper by Thompson is brought down by Jake McIlvain of Wadsworth, and
that'll probably be the last play of the quarter. I think it was one of these deals. Quarterback's going to keep the ball. If they get something big, fine. If they don't, that's 5-2. It was only a 5-yard gain. And Tallmadge doesn't have to break the huddle, and it doesn't look like they're going to. So we'll go into halftime. Wadsworth up 14-6.
And number 71, Mike Hedrick, was out on the field, so I don't believe he was kicked out of the game. Just for one play, he was dismissed from the field. Now he's back out there. So at the halftime, it is Wadsworth 14, Tallmadge 6. We'll have some stats and other goodies for you when we're back in just a little bit.
Okay.
Dance at the Summit County Fairgrounds.
We're ready for second half action
until 6 p.m.
here at Rosharkey Stadium in Tallmadge. The score, as you can see, is Wadsworth 14, Tallmadge 6, and Larry Varner has the first half stats.
Okay, start off for Wadsworth. Wadsworth had 8 first down. The big plays were made by quarterback Hoover. He was 6 for 12 for 116 yards and 1 touchdown. As far as rushing was concerned, Dave Lance had 50 yards, Dan Reno 36 yards, and Hoover lost 29 yards. Most of those, of course, were on quarterback sacks. The Grizzlies were penalized 5 times for 35 yards. On the other side of the ball, Tallmadge, 5 first downs. Passing, the quarterback Thompson was 3 for 10 for 94 yards. He also had 17 yards rushing. Running back Paul had 18 yards, and the Bluedevils were penalized 3 times for a total of 21 yards. Looking at the first half of this game, the score doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised that Wadsworth is up 14-6. But what does surprise me is how it happened. You would not expect the Tallmadge to come out, hit a 79-yard touchdown pass on their first play. Also, the turnovers have really been something. At times, it was almost like both teams were playing giveaway with the interceptions, the fumbles. Something else that surprised me is Tallmadge in the first half had a real tough time handling kickoffs and the the kickoff returns. They never did get any kind of a run back at all. So, like I say, the score might be what you expect, but how we got there sure wasn't. And this promises to be an interesting second half of the football game.
Wadsworth did defer the coin toss, so they will be receiving. And Coach Jeff Moore's Bluedevils will be kicking off. Jeff Moore, a second-year coach here at Tallmadge. Last year, the Bluedevils were 6-4 overall, 4-3 in the Suburban League for third place. So good first year for Coach Jeff Moore.
In fact, coming into the start of the season, Tallmadge was kind of expected to challenge for the Suburban League along with Wadsworth and Revere. Copley was up there too. And as things have panned out, Green, who has kind of come from nowhere in a sense, leading the Suburban League, of course, and there are 4 teams tied at 2-1. 2 of them are playing here tonight. And I want to remind you people, the big game tonight is at Copley, where Green and Copley are playing. See the referees at the center of the field conferring. Both teams are taking their stretching exercises prior to the start of the second half, and we're just about ready to go. A nice Wadsworth contingent came to see this game. You can see them across the field there dressed in their red. It's a pretty long ride from Wadsworth to Tallmadge. How long did it take you to get here, John?
Well, in that truck of ours, you can't get here quite as quick as you can in a normal vehicle. So it probably took a good half hour.
Well, I live in Akron, so to me this is a home game. This is closer than Wadsworth is for me, but
as you know, the WCTV mobile truck is an old EMS unit, so I get those things should move rather quickly, but this one doesn't.
I think they're high torque but low top end.
And going back a couple games, Wadsworth's only loss in the Suburban League was to Green, and really, Larry, they shouldn't have lost that ball game.
That was disappointing. There's no getting around it. That was one of those games where the big plays and the turnovers made all the difference. Coming into the season, we started out by saying Wadsworth was a very young team. And in the beginning of the year, they played like a very young team. And I think last week in the Norton game is when they finally gelled, finally came together. If they can hang on here tonight, they'll probably beat Cloverleaf. They'll probably beat Highland. Each of those teams at this point only has 1 win. And this could set up a big showdown at Copley, last game of the season.
Ready for kickoff. Glenn Moore to kick off for Tallmadge. And another kickoff is fumbled, this time by Gosser of the Grizzlies, but he picks it up, runs for it with a couple yards, and Wadsworth will start with the ball on their own 28.
40-yard kick and about a 4-yard return. The funny thing about all these ball mishandlings is it's a beautiful night. You couldn't ask for a more perfect night for football. This is the kind of fumbling on kickoffs and punts that you would expect to see when it's 40 degrees and driving rain. So Wadsworth takes over to start the second half, 1st and 10 on their own 28.
Hoover pitches it to Lance, and Lance gains about 4 or 5 yards.
David Lance, the ball carrier for Grizzlies. Chris Christian brings him down.
Lance does a good job of just picking his hole, following the blockers. And there's a referee timeout. There's a Wadsworth player injured on the sideline. He's behind the Tallmadge bench, and we can't see who it is.
Injury timeout on the field. We'd like to welcome the third quarter cheerleading mascot for the Bluedevils, Julianne Prodich.
Again, there's a referee's timeout. Right down the bottom of the screen, if you can see the red jacket, that is where the coaches are working on the injured Wadsworth player. Doesn't look to be too serious. So So it's kind of a slow start to the second half. One play and an injured Wadsworth player.
Larry, I think that's Ryan Samoski for the Grizzlies down on the sideline injured.
Samoski was injured earlier in the year.
Blue Devil fans, don't forget about the JV game tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at Wadsworth.
Samoski had a shoulder injury earlier on. And Coach Gramuglia is saying to me, it looks like he just got a stinger, so he'll be coming off, but we expect him to be back in, walking off easily under his own power. That'll bring up a second down and about 6 for Wadsworth on the Tallmadge 33. Yeah.
They're going to give Samoski time to get off the field before they start play. 2nd and 6 for Wadsworth on their own 23. Or not the 23. What yard line is that? The 33, thank you. Scoreboard reads 23. Hoover gets the handoff to Lance, and he drags the defender with him to get the first down for Wadsworth. 6-yard gain.
Good hard run by Lance. Nice little hole at the line of scrimmage. Lance squirts through, and the rest is just tug, 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 fall forward for the first down. That moves the ball up to the 39-yard line in Tallmadge.
Flip to Marino, and Marino gets nowhere but back to the line of scrimmage. Couple penalty flags on that play.
First flag is probably going to be holding on Wadsworth. I'm not sure what the second flag is. Here's the pitch. The hold you can't see. It'll take place outside your screen. And there comes the flag in for the holding. So holding against Wadsworth. And I guess both flags, the two referees both saw the same and called it. So it looks like Tallmadge is going to take this penalty, and if they do, it'll bring up a second and about 20 yards from inside the Wadsworth 30. They're marking the spot where the penalty occurs. Holding against Wadsworth, and still first down. So they move the ball back to the 27-yard line. So it'll be a 12-yard holding penalty against Wadsworth. Remember, holding is always called from the spot of the infraction. It isn't like it's 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. So 1st and 22 for Wadsworth. Ostlund split to the bottom of the screen.
Hoover short drop back. Pass is incomplete to Adam Copeland. He slanted in from his wide receiver position, and referees called incomplete. Here
Hoover
it is.
throws the ball. Let's watch. They called that incomplete. That's a very interesting call. And the incomplete call was called by the official who was behind the play and really not in very good position to see it. Be that as it may, 2nd down and 21 for Wadsworth.
Quick handoff to Lance. Doesn't get much.
The Tallmadge defense looks a little pumped here. They're real happy that they made that stop after the holding penalty. They've got Wadsworth deep in their own territory with a 3rd and about 21 to go. If Tallmadge can hold here, they could come up with the ball in some awfully good field position. Wadsworth is only up by 8 with 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
That's a big 8 points, though. Should this score remain the same towards the end of the game, Tallmadge will have to go for 2 if they score a touchdown. Hoover rolling to the right. Pass was intercepted by Joe Tomei.
Tomei did a good job of cutting in front of the receiver. You watch Hoover go back. He'll roll to his right. The protection is pretty good. He throws the ball pretty quick. He had a little time to throw, but he throws the ball. And they ruled that one a catch, which is interesting because it didn't look as good as the one that Copeland, they said, was incomplete. However, Tallmadge takes over 1st and 10 on the 35-yard line. This could be a big series for
High
Tallmadge.
formation, handoff to Paul.
Oh,
Doesn't get anywhere. He's brought down behind the line.
Jason Paul, the ball carrier for the Blue Devils.
There was nothing there. The whole Wadsworth defense was waiting for that play. I don't know who we could give credit to on the tackle. But it's a loss of a yard, so it brings up 2nd down and 11 for Tallmadge.
11.
Second and 11 for the Blue Devils.
I look for 2 passes here. I don't think they're going to try running the ball again.
Kind of a wingback in Chad Lowry for the Blue Devils. Thompson going to run with it. It's knocked out of his hands. And let's see who recovers it.
You can't fumble the ball forward, can you? You can gain your
Wadsworth players saying they recovered. Let's see what the referees say.
Ball remains on Tallmadge's side.
Watch the quarterback roll back, and the interesting thing is he fumbles the ball forward. They gain about 8 yards on the fumble. Faking the throw. Ball comes out right there. It's like a 10-yard fumble forward and a big pileup, but there's no Ken Stabler rule in high school, so it brings up 3rd down and 6.
Thompson back to pass again. Just keeps it himself and runs it up the middle of the field, gains a couple yards.
There was good coverage downfield, and also there's good pressure coming up the middle. One of the Wadsworth defenders jumped up, threw his hands in the face of the quarterback, forced Thompson to pull the ball down and run it. So here comes a really big play. This is going to be 4th down and 3 from the Wadsworth 27 and 28, and the whole game could be turning right here on this play, early as it is.
Thompson back looking, and he is drilled by Ian Formaz as he releases the ball. Incomplete pass, Wadsworth ball.
That was a big play by Ian Formaz. He came in from his left tackle position. Watch Formaz. He's going to be right in the middle of the screen. He's fighting off blocks. The quarterback stacks up, and now Formaz comes over and hits him just as the ball released. He couldn't get anything on it. Big defensive play for Wadsworth, big defensive play for Formaz, and the turnover really didn't hurt Wadsworth. They take over on their own 28, 1st and 10.
Marino and Lance split. Pitch to Lance around the end. Brought out of bounds at about the 43.
David Lance, the ball carrier for Wadsworth.
There are a lot of blockers in front of Marino.
33,
Tallmadge
sorry.
had the defenders over there, and you can see the defenders do a good job of stringing it out, forcing Marino to the sideline, and then they make the tackle. Gain of 6, but when that thing started out, it looked like it was going to go big.
Same formation for Wadsworth. Hoover short drop back, finds Copeland. 1st down passing to Adam Copeland.
Completed to Adam Copeland.
It was a 9-yard pickup. Copeland went out of bounds on the 45. Hoover throws the ball. Copeland did a good job of driving the defender off, then stepping back to get the reception, stepping out of bounds. So, going to be 1st and 10 Wadsworth on their own 44.
Handoff to Lance, brought down by number 52, Ted Greathouse, a junior defensive tackle for the Blue Devils.
Greathouse did a great job of getting in the backfield. In fact, he was waiting for the ball carrier almost when the handoff came. That one didn't have a chance. So it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 for Wadsworth.
It looked like Wadsworth was trying to throw off the defensive line of Tallmadge there. They've done a pretty good job of doing that a number of times this season, making the opponent jump, and that extra 5 yards really can help on a drive.
Well, the opponent jumped but got back.
This time the give is to Marino, and he gets nowhere. His momentum stopped. Whistles blow.
Dan Marino.
Some of the Wadsworth coaches think there were some extracurriculars there. Here comes Marino. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. He's driven back.
Whistles are blowing right there.
Right about there. The whistles start to blow, but look what happens. He gets thrown back, but the referees knew. Rule no harm, no foul. So it's going to bring up a 3rd and 12 for Wadsworth, and I think they're going to go to the air, which is where they've had their most success tonight. You got West and you've got Copeland split to the right at the top of your screen.
Hoover's going to roll to the right. Pass incomplete, intended for Copeland.
Mike Hoover's pass intended for Adam Copeland.
Good protection this time for Hoover. He throws the ball, but he throws it out of Copeland's reach. It almost looks like the Tallmadge defender trips Copeland right there, but Brink looked to be pretty wide open over the middle, but Hoover decided to go to Copeland. And here we go. We'll time the punt, see how high it goes.
As always, David Lance back to punt for the Grizzlies. Chad Lowry and Joe Tomei back to receive for the Bluedevils. Gets a Wadsworth Grizzly roll inside the 20. They pick it up, and it'll be down right there at about the 18-yard line of Tallmadge.
Tallmadge takes over at their own 17-yard line.
It's kind of almost a pooch punt by Lance. It was a 40-yard kick when you include the roll. The hang time was 3.2 seconds and went 43 feet in the air. So Tallmadge is going to take over deep in their own territory. Looks like they're on about their own 17-yard line.
Mike Fort and Joe Tomei split to the left. And the give is to Jason Paul, who gets it just across the 20, a gain of about 3 or 4.
Wadsworth defense covered well on that. Number 51, Matt Delnos, was out there on the tackle. Strung it out nicely. Pick up a 4, so that brings up a 2nd down and 6.
Thompson a little pass back to couldn't see who the ball carrier was there.
There's a Wadsworth player injured on the play. There's also a penalty, but I'll tell you, Ryan Finn played that option perfectly. He had the pitch man covered all the way. When the ball was pitched back, he was right there to make the tackle for a loss of about 6 yards. Can't tell who's down on the play for Wadsworth.
Hey. Let's send a little heat now. It's 37. Yeah.
You can see the Wadsworth coaches are working on the injured player.
37, no process.
Might have just got the wind knocked out of him. Can't quite tell from up here. We're about as far away from the field as we've been all season.
And also here, the press box is not up very high like it is at Artwright Stadium, so you don't get a real good angle to see what's going on. In fact, our angle is almost exactly what you see on the TV screen because the camera is sitting about 15 feet to my right and the same height that we are. Injured on the play was Ryan Finn. Yeah, he's getting up slowly, but it looks like he's going to be okay. They're taking Finn out.
I would look for Wadsworth to show blitz here, 3rd and 8. Tallmadge deep in their own territory.
It was my mistake. There was only a loss of 2 on the play, not a 6. So it brings up a 3rd down and 8 for Tallmadge. There's 4 minutes and 6 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. And like you said, John, this looks like pass to me. They got receivers split top and bottom. Now back comes out of the backfield in motion.
Here comes the blitz. Holding. Thompson finds Tomei, and it'll be a 1st down for Tallmadge. The pressure was there. They couldn't get to him as Thompson rolled to the right.
He rolls out right, and what happens is the receiver drives the defender downfield, turns around and comes back on a dead run to catch the ball. He's hit pretty much as he caught the ball, but it was enough for a 1st down. It was an 11-yard pickup. And so now Tallmadge has the ball on their own 31-yard line.
About 3.5 minutes to go in the third. Hand off to Paul. Gets nowhere. Stopped at the 30. It'll now be 2nd and long for Tallmadge.
Jake McElvain was there. John Schnell was there. The play had nothing going for it from the get-go, so it brings up 2nd and 10. And I'll tell you, I think Tallmadge is going to have to throw the ball. They haven't had an awful lot of success running, and so look for the air to be filled with footballs for the next couple plays here. It's the only way they're going to make it down the field. Wadsworth defenders playing very loose, looking for the pass.
This time Thompson goes to his left, looking, and finds Tomei down the far side of the field. And that's going to take the ball for Tallmadge.
So about the 46-yard line, so it's going to be a pickup of 16. Thompson rolls right. The defenders are going way downfield, and somehow Tomei comes underneath, pretty much unobserved right there. He was pretty much by himself. A defender might have fallen down, and that was a nice pickup for Tallmadge. So it's a 1st and 10 Tallmadge on the 46. And like I say, if they're going to move the ball, that's how they're going to have to do it. They're not going to do it on the ground.
The give that time was to John Turnier. Schnell on the tackle for Wadsworth.
That was a great tackle by John Schnell. There's a hole in the line, as a linebacker should. Came right up, filled the hole, and stopped the play for a gain of 2. Good tackle. 2nd down 8. Tallmadge is bringing these plays in from the sideline, and they use up a lot of time when they do that. We've had several delay of game penalties already, and if Tallmadge doesn't get the ball off in a hurry, they're going to be subject to another one.
Backs in the eye, and now one back in motion. A short drop pass to number 22, Rob Hurst, and it's called incomplete. Very strange play there unfolding.
Yeah, Tallmadge had people going all over the place, but Pat McCarthy does a good job of coming up and making the hit just as the ball gets there to jar the ball loose. And I'll tell you, McCarthy gambled on that play. If the receiver had hung onto that ball, there was nobody behind him. He could have walked into the end zone. It was a well-designed play by Tallmadge. They had receivers deep to the left. I mean, they had receivers out to the bottom of your screen, put a person in motion to the top of the screen, and then brought it back across the middle. This is a very big play. 3rd and 8 for Tallmadge. 1:54 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Lowry in motion for the Blue Devils. Wadsworth changes their defense. Thompson rolls to the right, and he's drilled by John Schnell behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of a few yards.
Another great tackle by John. You got to give the defensive backs credit. As the quarterback Thompson is looking downfield, the receivers are pretty well covered. So he keeps rolling, waiting for somebody to come over, and watch Snell just come up and boom. I'll tell you one thing that impressed me about Snell on that play with his speed, how he made it across the field to make the hit. And it looks like Tallmadge is going to punt on a 4th and 16.
Doug Sieber's punt for the Blue Devils. High, spiraling, deep kick that Westfields gets away from a couple defenders, gets it across the 30, and he's down at about the 34.
That was a great run back. There weren't many blockers back there for West, and it was a high punt. And if you watch West, stands there a minute, fakes, here he comes left. Okay, got rid of those two. Nice block there. Now let's move inside, a little spin move. Keep running, keep running. That's a good run back. A 40-yard kick and a 13-yard return by West.
Mike Hoover hands it off to David Lance. Gets across the 35. Gain of maybe 1 or 2.
Wadsworth is trying to run the middle of the Tallmadge line, and they're not having an awful lot of success. They've had their success passing. They've had their success running wide. But up the middle, Tallmadge has played pretty tough. So that'll bring up a 2nd down and about 9 yards to go. We're winding the 3rd quarter down. There's only 40 seconds left to play. So barring an incomplete pass, we're only going to see 1 or 2 more plays this quarter.
Ryan Gosser takes a breather. Ben Osterland now in at receiver. Hoover, short roll to the left, pass to Brink, cross the 40 and out of bounds.
That's not a first down.
Not a first down for Wadsworth. Brink is a big target, big tight end, good speed. There's pressure on Hoover. He gets rid of the ball. Nice catch by Brink and just lowers his shoulder and tries to drive on down but get knocked out of bounds. So it's a pickup of 7 yards, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2. 21 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Handoff to Lance over the middle. He gets the first down. That'll be the end of the 3rd quarter, I would believe, with Wadsworth gaining the first down and nearing midfield.
Nothing fancy here, just David Lance goes through the little hole, gains about 4 yards, just what you want for the first down. Clock is now running, and I'm sure the Grizzlies will just let it run out. So there was no scoring in the 3rd quarter. At the end, it's going to be 14 Wadsworth, 6 Tallmadge.
That'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter with the Wadsworth Grizzlies 14 and the Tallmadge Bluedevils 6.
So it was just kind of a back and forth 3rd quarter. Getting some stats from John Gramuglia here. Wadsworth so far has a total of 132 yards passing. David Lance has run for 62 yards so far. They had 3 first downs in the 3rd quarter. And Tallmadge, on the other hand, didn't do an awful lot in the 3rd quarter. In fact, if you look at this game, Tallmadge hasn't done an awful lot since that first pass play that went for 79 yards and a touchdown. Quarterback Thompson for Tallmadge has 120 yards passing, but remember, 2/3 of those came on the first play of the game. And he's also thrown a bunch of interceptions. But the running game for Tallmadge has been practically nil. So we're starting the 4th quarter. Wadsworth ball, 1st and 10, just outside of midfield on the Wadsworth 47.
I think Wadsworth needs a quick score here on this drive, and give is to Lance, finds a lot of running room up the middle of the field, and he is brought down just shy of the 30 of Tallmadge. Nice, very nice run by David Lance, brought down by Tomei of the Bluedevils.
Tomei makes one of the best open field tackles I've ever seen. Here comes Lance, and right there, now it looks like he's open for the touchdown. He's got Tomei to beat. He tries to cut outside. Tomei doesn't take the fake. Great tackle. 21-yard gain, though, for Lance, and it's Wadsworth ball just outside the Tallmadge 30.
Give is to Lance again. Breaks through the line, gets it across the 25 to about the 23-yard line of Tallmadge.
Earlier on in the game, I said Tallmadge was about the smallest team we'd seen, and maybe here in the 4th quarter, the Wadsworth offensive line is starting to wear down the Tallmadge defense. The last couple plays, nice holes have opened up for Lance to run through, and he picked up 9 on that one. So it's Wadsworth ball, 2nd down, about 1 to go on the Tallmadge 22.
Lance again with the ball, turns his back to the goal and kind of falls forward. We'll see how they spot that one.
Game was short gain, but it doesn't look... No, they moved the ball back. In fact, they said not only did he gain anything, he actually lost something on the play. So a very creative spot by the referees, but it brings up 3rd down and 1 on the 23.
People come up, tell us to turn it down.
We cannot hear in that concession stand.
Put your name in the back of the ticket.
There's the first down for the Grizzlies.
David Lance once again poked it through and took the ball down to about the 17-yard line for a gain of 5. I'll tell you, John, if Wadsworth scores here and goes up, let's say, 21-6, it's going to be awful tough for Tallmadge to come back. They're going to have to score at least twice with 2 two-point conversions to win, and time is running out.
He's going to call it right here, I think. Who is that?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, get out your 50-50 tickets.
Gain of 1 on the play.
Clock's still running with 9 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the game.
Wait, let me write the number down.
2nd and 9 for Wadsworth.
2nd and 10 for Wadsworth. Pitch to Marino around the left. Driven out of bounds.
Dan Marino, the ball carrier.
Looked like he picked up about 3 yards. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and perhaps 7 yards for Wadsworth. Watch the quick pitch. They work the inside. Now they're going to try outside. Cornerback comes up, makes a nice play to drive Marino out of bounds. They give him 2 yards on the play, so it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 8 for Wadsworth. And this is going to be a big play for Wadsworth.
2-8-7-7-9-2.
Pass complete to Copeland.
I don't think he got the 1st down, though. Copeland came up just short of the 1st down. Drove the receiver off. Watch him go downfield, top of your screen, drive the receiver off, turn around and come back. Good heads-up defense, good recovery by Tallmadge, and it's going to be short of the 1st down by 1. So here is a critical play in the game. 4th and 1 for Wadsworth on about the 9-yard line of Tallmadge. Are they going to go for it, or are they going to try the field goal? Field goal would ensure that Tallmadge couldn't score, tie the game with the score. But no, Wadsworth is going to go for it. 4th down and 1 on the 9-yard line. This could be the whole game for Tallmadge.
Well, Tallmadge showing blitz. Give is to Lance.
It's going to be close.
It looks like he got across the 1st down line.
Tallmadge people are saying no.
But
He didn't give it to you.
Depends on what the referee said he stopped him.
so Tallmadge will take over deep in their own territory.
71.
Lance just could not quite lunge across the 1st down marker there, and
of course Wadsworth has pinned Tallmadge down deep in their own territory on the 8-yard line. So can they throw from down here or not? We'll take a look and see.
Thompson keeps it himself. Nice job by Chris Brink to bring the quarterback down before he could gain any yardage on that.
Chris's name offensively with the catches, but defensive end, he does a good job of just bird-dogging the ball carrier and bring him down for a gain of maybe 1. So that brings up 2nd down and 9 for Tallmadge, deep in their own territory on their own 9-yard line. And once again, Tallmadge has taken a lot of times getting these plays off. All the plays are being called by the sidelines, bringing players in. And I'm surprised they haven't had more delay of game.
Thompson again keeps it himself, this time to the other side of the line. Breaks through for a 1st down, just short of the 20.
John, you said coming in that Thompson could run the ball, but this is the first time we've seen him maneuver tonight. It would look like a quarterback option or an option to pitch, but he kept the ball and just squirted through for yards. A good run. Brings the ball out to the 19-yard line where it's going to be 1st and 10 for Tallmadge. But we're down to 7:14 to play in the 4th quarter, and I don't know if Tallmadge can do it on the ground. They've just got a long way to go.
Down there, we're running all the way over the other side. He's sprinting.
She's sprinting.
We're going to wait to get right here.
This time Thompson's give is to Paul. He gets nowhere. Nice defensive play there by Wadsworth.
Another one of those plays where you could credit somebody with the tackle, but basically it was the Wadsworth defense that stopped them.
Time's up.
So that brings up a 2nd and 10 Wadsworth. No gain, ball on the 19-yard line.
Yeah, we're all right.
2nd and 10 for the Bluedevils. Thompson tries to break away and run with it, but he's brought down. Brink again is there, and Matt Delnos helps him out.
I was watching downfield. Chad Lockerty, number 2, was open for Tallmadge, but when you got this much pressure on you, you don't have time to feed the receiver. And that was a great hit. So here comes a big play for Tallmadge. It's going to be a 3rd down and 12, and the ball is on the 16-yard line. And it's getting to the point with 6:16 to go. Tallmadge just about has to make this play to stay in the ball game.
Straight drop back, pass over the middle, complete to Mike Fort, and that's a 1st down for the Blue Devils.
Beautiful route, beautiful throw. If you watch, a slant pattern on right across the middle. The Wadsworth defenders were pretty much on the play, but if you watch this throw right on the line, the quarterback puts it right where he has to, over the front man, in front of the deep man. Great catch. That was the nicest pass play I've seen tonight. Even nicer than that 79-yarder that went for the touchdown. So it's a 1st and 10 Tallmadge on about 31-yard line.
The pitch is to Paul. He's going to try to take it around the right, and he'll get nowhere. As again, Chris Brink there to make the tackle.
Down by number 89, Chris Brink.
Well defended by the Grizzlies. But watch Chris Brink. He doesn't bite on the fake. He's going to run outside, running down the line of scrimmage right there, and makes the hit. Also on the hit,
Jake McIlvain.
Yeah, Jake McIlvain was coming up from his defensive cornerback spot. 2 of them together, no chance. So that brings up a 2nd and 13 for Tallmadge. 5:42 left to play in the game.
Backs in the eye for Tallmadge, 1 receiver to the left. Thompson is pressured, brought down by Gabe Catrufo, the nose guard on the Wadsworth defense, with the sack.
There are 2 fakes in the line of scrimmage, one there, one there. Catrufo just goes over the black that was left in to block and makes the tackle. That was a great play by Catrufo, and Tallmadge just called a timeout to talk things over. To set it up for you, 3rd and 21 Tallmadge, 5:21 to go in the 4th quarter, 14-6 Wadsworth to score. And again, Tallmadge is faced almost with a must complete, must make a 1st down play. Time is running out, but the Wadsworth defense really has risen to the task the last few plays here. First time out taken by either team in the 2nd half. Oh, we got a minute here. I want to thank the people who are helping with the stats. Scott Callahan's here all the time. John Gramuglia, though, is doing the job tonight, shoving the stats at me. You wonder where I get the numbers. That's where I get them from. He just informed me. Quarterback for Tallmadge, Thompson, now 6 for 14 for 136 yards. But again, 80 of those came on the first play of the game.
Thompson straight drop back, slant pass again, picked off by Schnell. Plenty of room to run to the end zone, and he gets it in for a Grizzly touchdown. What a play by the transfer from Euclid, linebacker John Schnell.
Actually, the pattern was run fairly well. The ball wasn't thrown all that well. Schnell comes running up. Great interception.
Don't be throwing stuff up here.
Down he goes. Carries the ball down and into the end zone for a touchdown. Going to try the extra point now.
Extra point attempt by Galpert is up and good.
A very good job once again by Ben Vujas. The snap wasn't all that great. Vujas did a great job of getting the ball down. The point was kicked. Makes it 21-6 Tallmadge with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go. And it's going to be difficult to Tallmadge come back from this one.
Very nice interception there by John Schnell, and he just took off with the afterburners on, and that was just wonderful that he could break through those offensive players there, and he just dove in for that last extra yard there to get the touchdown.
Schnell's had a big game. He's made a lot of big plays. That one, of course, was the biggest one. And Tallmadge really hasn't had much luck striking deep or striking quick. It's going to have a tough time coming back from this 21-6 deficit with 5 minutes and 10 seconds to go. So if Wadsworth can kick the ball off, pin them deep, we're in pretty good shape. And remember, Tallmadge has had a tremendously difficult time handling the ball on kickoff so far this game. They haven't had a run back to speak of the entire game. So kind of look for Galper, once again, not to kick the ball deep, but rather kind of dribble it downfield, make one of the up men handle the ball.
Okay, Lowry deep back to the Blue Devils.
Another ground ball kick by Galpert, and one is finally fielded cleanly by Tallmadge. Chad Lowry runs it up the middle.
That ball took a nice bounce right up into Lowry's hand. He did a good job of running it back, and he got the ball out in good field position to about the 42-yard line.
Chad Lowry returns to the 42-yard line. First and 10 for the Blue Devils.
So with 5:05 to go, Tallmadge takes over on their own 42-yard line.
Thompson drops back. Was looking for, I guess, Tomei, and the pass was incomplete. 5 minutes to go. Wadsworth now with a commanding lead, Larry.
Yeah, Tallmadge is getting a little bit desperate. They had 3 receivers to the top of your screen and threw the ball down there, but nothing was open. In fact, the ball was underthrown. So that brings up a 2nd and 10 for Tallmadge on the 42 with 5 minutes to go.
Thompson drops straight back again. He's pressured, knocked around like a pinball, and he is finally brought down by Schnell and Brink at the 35-yard line.
I was watching downfield. There was good coverage on the play, and then Brink and Schnell came in and managed to get the quarterback. Tries to step up into the pocket. There's nothing there. There's Schnell hanging on by a leg, and Brink finishes the ball. I got to sit down so you keep it.
Thompson finds number 35, Chris Christian, open. Pass is complete, and Tallmadge gets the ball just shy of midfield with 4 minutes to go in the game.
It's a well set up screen. You got to remember the Wadsworth defense is playing loose. They don't want to give up the big play. So here comes the screen down here. Again, well set up, ball a little bit underthrown, but the Wadsworth defenders come up, stop the play short of the first down. So it's going to be 4th and 3 for Tallmadge, and Tallmadge is going to go for it on 4th and 3. Why not?
Thompson continues to pass. And almost intercepted.
I think the ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage. What was interesting on that play, I thought, was they weren't going for the 1st and 10. They were going for it all. Here Thompson goes back. He's not looking short. He's looking deep. The ball is thrown. No, it wasn't tipped. Just barely overthrown. So Wadsworth takes over on the Tallmadge 49-yard line with 3:34 to go. Tallmadge has 2 timeouts, I believe. They may have 3. But I think Wadsworth is just going to be content now to sit on the ball and try to run out the clock.
Gosser did get a paw on that pass.
Timeout, Wadsworth.
Wadsworth calls timeout. I think they just want to talk things over, make sure everybody's on the same page. What are we going to do here?
Thank you, guys. I thought this would happen.
I'd like to interrupt this broadcast.
Hey, this is so exciting. This will be the first time I get to watch the game. Obviously, it's around the first time I saw it live. I'm like,
You see the Wadsworth coaches talking to the Wadsworth players. Make sure everybody's on the same page, just saying, hey, settle down now. All we got to do is hang on the ball, run out the clock, and the game is ours. So here we go.
Should Wadsworth go on and win this ball game, they will move to 4 and 3, but more importantly, 3 and 1 in the league. That leaves them towards the top for contention of the league title. Hoover going to keep it on the ground, giving it to Lance, and he gets nothing on that play.
Isn't that surprising that David Lance got the ball? That brings up a second down and about 10. Give the ball to Lance, nothing there. But really, Tallmadge's opponent right now is in Wadsworth. It's the clock, and time continues to run. I think if Wadsworth runs off maybe 1 first and 10, they can just run the clock out, and that'll take care of the game.
Hoover again hands it off, this time to Marino, and again, no gain.
Being up a 3rd and 10, Tallmadge takes a timeout to stop the clock. 2:51 to go. Well, you see the referees talking things over in Tallmadge huddle there. Coach is coming out telling them what to do, but really that timeout wasn't for instructions. The timeout was to stop the clock. So we're at 3rd and 9. The ball's on the Tallmadge 48-yard line. Wadsworth ball, 2 minutes and 51 seconds to play. And Tallmadge has to score twice and score 2 two-point extra conversions to win the game. That's going to be tough to do.
Receiver on each side of the line for the Grizzlies. Hoover's going to keep it himself, look for somewhere to run, can't find it, and about 3 plays in a row there, Wadsworth could not get the ball much past the line of scrimmage.
I don't know if Hoover's going to pass or not, or if this is almost like a quarterback sprint out. Doesn't look like he's looking downfield, but again, he's in a lot of trouble back there and brought down behind the line of scrimmage. So it's going to be a 4th down and 10 for Wadsworth, and they're probably going to punt the ball.
And look for Tallmadge to come after it,
well,
too.
Tallmadge just called a timeout. I don't know if they have 1 left or if that's their last timeout. I think it's their 2nd timeout, so they have 1 left. And like you said, John, look for the whole Tallmadge team to try to come for the block here. They are sending a person back just in case, but I'm sure it's going to be an all-out rush to try to block this punt. Here they come.
Chad Lowry deep for Tallmadge. A high end over about end over end. The kick only nets about 10 yards for the Grizzlies.
It was a funny thing. The Wadsworth defenders did a good job of picking up the rushers coming in. But what happened was Lance just shanked the ball off the side of his foot. It wasn't blocked or anything else like that. So that's the best thing that could have happened for Tallmadge. They come up with a 6-yard punt. So with 2:31 to go, Tallmadge takes over the ball on their own 44-yard line.
Thompson rolling to his right, will pass it, but he is brought down by, once again, John Schnell on the sack for the Grizzlies.
Credit to John Schnell on the sack, but also credit to the Wadsworth defenders. Thompson's looking. At this point, the receivers are all covered, and Schnell just gets around the blocking fullback and makes the tackle. So things are looking worse and worse for Tallmadge. Now they have a 2nd down and about 17 on the 39-yard line.
We're under 2 minutes now in the ball game. Thompson gonna go left this time. Throws deep down the field. A couple of Wadsworth defenders jump up and deflect it even further downfield.
The Wadsworth defenders were there, but the ball was overthrown. No chance of that one being caught.
It'll be 3rd down now for the Bluedevils.
Minute 46 to play. 3rd and 16 for Tallmadge.
No first down here, and this game is definitely over. Ball
Wadsworth
on,
defense playing very loose.
ball on the 39. Thompson finds Lowry, and he's down the sideline, gets the first down.
Thompson pass complete to Chad Lowry.
Lowry ran a good route, came in underneath the coverage. If you watch Lowry here, he goes down, then he comes in underneath the deep coverage. The ball is thrown to Lowry, and he does a good job of running with the ball after the ball's caught. Makes a little fake there, but now maybe he makes a mistake in heading for the inside. Perhaps he should have run the ball out of bounds.
Thompson's pass this time is incomplete. 26-yard gain on that last play for Tallmadge.
Thompson's pass intended for Mike Forrest, incomplete.
That brings up a 2nd and 10 for Tallmadge, throw on the 35-yard line. But I think the most important stat or number we have, 1:23 seconds left on the clock. And remember, Tallmadge not only has to score twice, but they've got to have two two-point conversions to win the game.
35-yard line, 2nd down.
Only 3 men on the line for the Grizzlies defensively. Thompson is crunched at about the 40. Clock continues to run.
5-yard loss, but what surprises me is he manages to hang on the ball the way he gets crunched.
In the backfield by Jeff Digtree.
All of a sudden, oops, nowhere to go, and pow. I mean, that's like a Thompson sandwich. And a timeout on the referee's timeout. They're sending a Wadsworth player, Catrufo, off the field. He must be having an equipment problem or something like that. No flag was thrown.
That's why Tim makes a big buck. He's the dean of the press box.
I mean, Josh Miracle came in to replace Catrufo. Back to throw.
Thompson's pass intended for Rob Hurst is incomplete, knocked out of bounds.
We've got 48 seconds to play. 4th and 15. And unless they make a 1st and 10 here, this is going to be Tallmadge's last play of the game. So it comes down to this 4th and 15 on the 30. I'm sorry, it's about 39-yard line for Tallmadge. 48 seconds to play. Let's see what they come up with now. They got 2 wide receivers going to the top, wide receiver down the bottom, wing back in the slot, only 1 running back.
Thompson this time throws long down the left side of the field over the defender's head.
Over everybody.
And intended for Chad Lowry.
That was Pat McCarthy there on the pass coverage for Wadsworth. Wadsworth will take over and probably just kneel down on a couple plays to end the ball game.
I think kneel down at the ball twice and the game is over. And so unless something really, really strange happens, the game is going to end up Wadsworth 21 and Tallmadge 6. Thompson ends up 7 for 21, 162 yards, thanks to John Gramugli again for all the stats.
And Hoover
goes back, kneels down, 37 seconds to play. He might have to do that one more time, but I think this game is over.
$20 seconds to go.
20 seconds to go. I don't think Wadsworth has to snap the ball. Coming out of the huddle. 13 seconds to go. Looks like Hoover's just going to take the snap, kneel on the ball. And that's the end of the game.
That is the end of the ball game. You just watched your Wadsworth Grizzlies defeat the Tallmadge Bluedevils by a final score of 21-6 on WCTV's Channel 16. Thanks to Mike, Nate, for running the cameras tonight. Ken Buck, our director.
Those kids right there. Excited, but more like that. No, he was definitely out of line. Whoever it was.
Next week we'll be at Artwright Stadium as the Grizzlies will take on the Highland Hornets. Wadsworth now moves to 4-3 overall. More importantly, they are 3-1 in the Suburban League. And Tallmadge falls now to 4-3 overall and 2-2 in the Suburban League. So depending on what Green did tonight, we'll see what happens. Thanks also to Tyler in the truck.
You guys take care. Is that guy for something over here?
Tune in to Grizzly Gridiron, a highlight show with Coach Dennison, and we will review this Tallmadge game and preview the upcoming opponent, which is Highland. So from Rose Shockey Stadium in Tallmadge, the Grizzlies defeat the Bluedevils by a final of 21-6. For Larry Varner and the whole WCTV crew, I'm John Bernard. So long, everybody.